It's another perfect night for baseball at SunTrust Park in Atlanta as the Braves and Cardinals meet for Game 2 of a 3-game series. The Braves shaved another number off the magic number to win the division title. It now stands at 7, even though the Cardinals won last night by an 11-6 final score. Hi again, friends, with Paul Bird, Joe Simpson. Great to be back at the ballpark where Atlanta tries to rebound from a disappointing outing in Game 1 of this series. And Joe, for the Atlanta Braves, their final homestand, time to turn things around here at SunTrust Park. The last couple of weeks, it's been rough going here. Yeah, the homestand has not gone the way you wanted, and the last 2 homestands have not gone real well. If you go back to the middle of August for the Atlanta Braves, the road has been much kinder to the Braves as they've gone 11-3 versus a 4-13 home record over that same period of time. But here's kind of the odd stuff to me. The runs per game, pretty good at home. A lot less on the road, but if you look at that bottom number, a plus 24 run differential, because the pitching has been outstanding on the road. It needs to match those numbers at home to wipe out that that magic number of 7. But all is not lost for Atlanta, Paul Bird. You saw at the bottom of that graphic, the Braves have gained 4.5 games in the standings, and some things are going very right now.
You want some good news?
I do.
Are you ready, Braves fans? There's a new sheriff in town. It's not Reggie Hammond. It's Ronald Acuna. He's been killing the ball, 18 home runs since the All-Star break. It's not just his hitting, it's the base stealing, it's the defense, it's the energy and excitement that he brings to the team. And how about this? Versus left-handed pitchers, Braves have a 785 ops. That's good enough for second best in the NL. And with Austin Gomber on the mound, who is a lefty, maybe some good things will happen tonight. And Braves in late innings, very good, Joe. That's against tough relievers.
They do great work against those guys. All of them seem to be hard throwers, Paul, and yet the Braves still fight from behind. They try to catch up if they have to, but they are so good late in the ball game that they're a threat to any ball club.
Walks, as you know, for the Braves staff have been a problem, Joe. Who better to try to get the train back on the tracks with control and some deep performances innings-wise than tonight's starter, Anibal Sanchez?
Well, Anibal is a veteran. He's 34 years old. He's been through all the wars. He knows how to get things back on track, and he certainly will be an asset tonight for the Braves to cut down on those walks and limit the base runners.
And it's one of the reasons he's brought over. And I got to tell you this, when you are a pitcher and you're a veteran, you live for a meaningful September, and to be the stopper, he's in that situation tonight. We'll see if he can answer.
And Anibal Sanchez has been awfully good in the late days and weeks of a regular season. And for more on that, let's join our colleague, Kelsey Winkert. Hello, Kelsey.
Hey guys, yeah, you know, we've spoke so much about what Anibal Sanchez has meant to this team since the Braves were able to get him. It's not only what he's been able to do on the mound, which he's pitched to a 3.01 ERA on the year, but it is the influence he has had on the guys in that clubhouse, every single one of them. And Paul Bird mentioned how the Braves perform well in the later innings offensively. Well, Anibal Sanchez performs very well in the later part of the season. If you look at his career numbers by the month, he performs his best in the months of September and October, and that is exactly what the Braves need. But why does he do that? We'll let him tell you.
One of those months, like September, October, is an exhausting month for most of the players. I'm always like, you know, I got like 10 years already that I'm preparing always for those months, because baseball is not how good you start, if not how strong you finish. And you know, day by day, I come here and prepare myself, my body to be strong at that point of the season. And you know, I never pay attention to what I've done before, but I try to pay attention to what I'm gonna do every September month, even October when I'm on the playoff.
Well, the guys called him a stopper, and we're going to hope Anibal Sanchez can do what he has done all season and help lead the Braves to another win and continue to help that magic number get a little bit lower. We have Game 2 between the Cardinals and the Braves coming your way. It'll be Anibal Sanchez taking on Austin Gomber. Chip, Joe, and Paul Bird take you up to first pitch next.
Trust Park, game 2 for the Braves and the Cardinals tonight. St. Louis victorious in game 1 by an 11-6 final score. Mike Schultz's club has catapulted themselves into the number 2 wild card spot. They're a half game ahead of the Colorado Rockies. Pretty similar lineup for his club tonight. Why not? They drew a lot of walks, hit 4 homers last night. That's the challenge for Brave starter Anibal Sanchez, who's got the assignment to stop the Cardinals tonight. And the first pitch cut on and missed, and we are underway with Matt Carpenter leading off.
Chip, everybody's ready to go, and how about these numbers? I want kids sitting on the couch and scouts to take notice. You can still pitch in the big leagues and strike people out when you throw in the upper 80s. That's 118 strikeouts and 119 plus innings. Joe, that's pretty good.
Not bad at all. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight, in light of all these walks lately, show the way. Show him how to do it, Anibal. You can do that. 3rd and 4th, that's the 3rd and 4th innings. Those are his toughest innings, ERA-wise and walks-wise. Weather that storm.
Dude, I thought you were going to break out the Peter Frampton with the show the way thing. You could sing those 4 keys.
I don't have that mouth thing, that juice harp.
Right.
I would have.
So Matt Carpenter 0 for 3, but scored a couple of runs thanks to 2 walks last night. And he's out on a check swing, and he appeals to Sam Holbrook. But his appeal is denied, and Carpenter struck out to start the game.
Last time Joe Simpson sang, it broke the curse, and the Braves got hot. Just the mention of Peter Frampton, and we got a nasty changeup to get the first inning, first hitter strikeout.
Oh, and he went. Good start.
Here's Jose Martinez. He's the Cardinals right fielder who doubled and scored last night. And a check swing is rolled foul at first. That would have been disastrous. Freddie well off the line. And a check swing foul ball nearly turned into a double.
First inning is important tonight in lieu of what happened last night to Mike Foltynewicz, who really struggled in the first inning. Get these guys quickly, get your bats up there, get an early lead.
Martinez hitting .301, 16 homers, and launches that one foul. And he's quickly behind 0-2. Martinez doubled last night, his first extra base hit since August the 28th. He has been a very big bright spot for a Cardinal club that in the first half of the season did not get much offensive production. As I said, 16 home runs for him. That's been a very pleasant surprise.
Used to be able to fly, Chip, but he hurt his knee early in his career, changed his career path, and he is the only professional athlete with a cadaver ligament in his knee.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. He's had a tough road. We talked yesterday about how he hit so well in AAA, had to wait his turn, but great attitude. Spoke with him before the game, played with his father in Cleveland. Great family, and reminds me of his dad. A lot of energy, always smiling, always happy.
And a ball ready with his 1-2 pitch. Strike 3. Vic Carapazza rings him up. And now Martinez takes a peek at the plate and questions the strike 3 call. 2 up and 2 down.
Looked like he was right in the upper corner of the zone.
Little four-seamer, 90 miles an hour, ties him up. That's what we're talking about, coming out throwing strikes, establishing the inside part of the plate.
And I love the home plate umpire calling strikes. That was a perfect pitch.
Agree.
As Paul DeYoung, the shortstop, digs in. DeYoung had a couple of hits. He had one of the Cardinals' homers last night. He also doubled. And fouled back. Anibal is in attack mode to start. Coming off a no decision last time out against the Giants. 1 run, 6 hits in 6 innings. He threw 99 pitches out west during the Wednesday afternoon game out at AT&T Park.
I loved his comments with Kelsey. Anibal's talking about preparing for September baseball and working hard, and it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I love that.
Well, he has started exceptionally well for the Braves as this one's pulled foul. Sanchez 6 and 5 on the year, The contributions of Sanchez and Brandon McCarthy are remarkable. Those two men have combined to go 12-8 with a 2.68 ERA. That has been a very nice combination for the Braves in 2018. And he's got DeYoung set up. And a ground ball hit to the left side. Charlie slides, fires a fastball, and got his man. And Sanchez sets the tone. A perfect 1-2-3 first with a couple of strikeouts. And a terrific defensive play by Charlie Culberson, who's got the start for Dansby at short tonight. No score. Braves coming up here in the home first. Here comes Ronald Acuna and the rest of the Braves lineup. Atlanta 6.5 games ahead of the Phillies, who are entertaining the Mets tonight. Brian Snitker's Toyota starting lineup has a couple of changes. Charlie Culberson at short, hitting 8th. Kurt Suzuki is the man behind the dish. Let's see if Freddie Freeman can't heat up and help spark a early lead for St. Louis against a man they haven't faced, a talented left-hander, Austin Gomber.
You got it, 24 years old, Chip. Good numbers, and you see the games and the starts. Only 9 starts. He's bounced back and forth. Started in AAA this year. Had some nice innings and is up here trying to help the team.
Big guy, 6'5", 230. Out of West Orange High School in Orlando and Florida Atlantic University, a 4th-round pick who's 5-1 this season. Started in the bullpen and now starting, and has a very interesting arsenal of pitches to choose from.
Fastball, good curveball, cutter, and changeup. Cutter is also listed as a slider, but talking to pitching coach Mike Maddox, it is a cutter. And there's that good curve, 12-6. It's a hammer.
Yeah, that's the scouting report I got, was that is his out pitch for sure.
So 2 balls and a strike for Acuna. And that pushed him off the plate. Ball 3. Gomber coming off his first loss in the big leagues. That was against the Dodgers. They hammered him for 7 runs, 9 hits in 3 innings of work. And that sharply hit toward third. Jerko with a nice play, stayed with it and retires Acuna on a 3-1 count. And 1 man down.
Well, that's good news for Gomber, because leading off a game, a 500 on base percentage for opposing hitters, and leading off innings, an on base percentage of 418. So that'll bear watching tonight.
He wants a new baseball as that one is thrown out of play, and Ozzie Albies the batter. Ozzie went 1 for 3 last night. He scored a couple of runs last night, walked twice. That's an encouraging sign out of the 2 spot. And that's fouled away into the glove of Molina, strike 1.
Surprised he threw away that ball. That means it's extremely damaged.
Another chance for Jerko at third. This one slightly behind the grass, and his peg to first is perfect. 2 ground ball outs And that brings up Freddie Freeman. Freddie 2 for 5 last night. He hit a 2-run homer, a 402-foot blast. It got the Braves to within a run after 3 innings. And the first pitch is swung on and slashed into center for a base hit. So Freddie keeps up his good work against left-handed pitching.
Paul, this kind of went against his usual against left-handed hitters, and it cost him. He likes to work them away.
He does. He likes to work them away. He will throw a fastball in every now and then he likes to throw that big curveball. But Freddie always sitting fastball. Nice job working it up the middle, not trying to do too much.
And Joe, what do you say about a left-handed pitcher's curveball to a left-hand hitter?
He's going to throw it, and he's going to throw it a lot.
So I'm sure Nick has scouted that out. Markakis at 307. He had a hit and an RBI last night. And look, last night was a frustrating game in a lot of respects. But one thing you have to be awfully proud of is the way the Braves offense kept battling back in that game. They trailed 3-0, 6-4, and then 6-5 before the Cardinals broke it open late.
You know, I think that's something the hitters, the offense, has got to just kind of work through right now. In this regard, that you can't get to the 8th inning and say, well, if we hadn't given up that 3 spot in the top of the inning or the 7th inning, we'd have already been caught up by now. You can't think that way. You just got to keep swinging, hacking, and hoping you can get the lead back.
And the Braves had 6 runs and 10 hits last night. Left 10 on base, so from an offensive standpoint, the Braves had a pretty good night.
Absolutely, and had the bases loaded with Freddie up there with a chance to tie the game or take the lead late in the game. Since when Nick's at his best, as you can see.
Why is that as a hitter? A lot of times they'll just hit better with guys on.
Focus.
It seems that is always the case.
Focus, concentration, knowing you can do some damage with somebody on base.
Good lead for Freddie at first base. A ball and 2 strikes from Markakis. Jerko way off the line at third. And Nick took a shot that way. That's hammered down the line, but curling into the seats. And no play for Marcell Ozuna. It's still a ball and 2 strikes. I'm not sure there's a more dangerous hitter in the National League or in all of baseball with 2 outs than Nick Markakis. He has been so good in situations like this all year long. Keeping innings alive, tough at bats, prolonged at bats, big hits. Let's see what he can do here. Runner goes. The pitch is cut on and missed. And that's the inning. The throw through to second base won't matter. And Gomber has his first strikeout of the game, and Freeman's left aboard after a scoreless first at SunTrust. Braves hope to chop down the Cardinals and hope to give Anibal Sanchez some run support. That's the subject of our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature.
Last 8 starts been kind of hard for Anibal to rack up a win.
Ozuna jumps on the first pitch and drives it toward left. And Ronald's going to catch that one out.
In fact, he's gone 7 straight starts without a W, despite pitching to good numbers.
5th lowest run support in the National League among pitchers with as many starts. Averages 3.61.
I'm sorry, Paul. Is that hard for a starter to put out of his mind, knowing you don't get a lot of run support?
A young guy, yes. A veteran, no. Because a veteran like Sanchez has been through the wars and knows that's something he can't control.
And if he had any questions, he could just call Jacob deGrom and say, how do you deal with it, Jacob?
Yeah.
Well, Anibal looks sharp tonight. A man on a mission. 2 strikeouts in the first inning, and he's quickly ahead of Jed Jerko with 2 strikes. Jerko, the Cardinal third baseman, with 11 homers and a .270 batting average. He has hit safely in each of his last 10 starts for the Cardinals. Not in this at bat. 3 pitches retires him. 3rd strikeout and 2 quick outs in the 2nd.
Anibal has a great changeup working early tonight. There it is again, righty on righty. Looks just like the heater, and it comes in and dies. And guess who loves fastballs? Jerko.
Put it in a great spot, didn't he?
Great spot, great selection.
Here's Yadier Molina. Molina is a real profile and courage for the Cardinals, playing with a real bad left leg. Hamstring, to be specific. We saw that when he was trying to run the bases last night. He can barely run at all, but he can still hit.
And we saw that he could still trot.
Yes. It's after a 9th inning 2-run homer that ended up in the Braves bullpen. 18 homers, 66 RBIs for Molina, who's now ahead 3 balls, no strikes. Green light, 3-0, now 3-1. Molina, among National League catchers, 3rd highest batting average, 2nd most homers, tied for most RBIs, most hits. And when he scores a run, the Cardinals usually win. He's a key guy to keep an eye on. He scored a run in 42 St. Louis games. The Cardinals have won 33 of them.
I thought he was supposed to be all catch and no hit now. Guess not.
No. Fly ball well hit center. Ender on his horse, slowing now, is going to get there. And a nice comeback for Sanchez from a 3-0 count. He set down 6 straight to start his night. Sunday the 23rd. It's also Fan Appreciation Day with the Phillies in town. Hope you'll join us here at SunTrust Park. Free games in Hope and Will's Sandlot. Surprise giveaways and activities too. The Braves will say thank you for a great 2018 regular season. Go to Braves.com/promos and get all the details.
Love that guy's beer mug. Did you see that?
I missed it.
It was a mug. The handle was a tomahawk.
Really?
Yeah. Had a Braves. There you go. Right there. Check it out.
That is slick.
Yeah, it is.
Send a couple of those up here, will you? Of course. We have to make sure that they're waterproof. just an idea on a hot night. As we head to the home second, no score.
That guy seemed to be into the game already.
I love it. Johan Camargo going on the ground ball. This one eats up Jerko at third base. And that's the second Braves base runner. And if there is a question about the Cardinals and how far they will go should they make playoff consideration, is defensively.
Oh, that came up on him. Bad hop. Base hit. Come on now. It's a home field. Braves get mistreated on the road enough. That's a bad hop base hit.
If you were the official score, that would be the case. However, Jerko's charged error number 14. And Kurt Suzuki is the batter with a man aboard to start the second inning. Kurt at .271 on the year. 12 homers and 47 knocked in. Braves have done a good job against left-handed pitchers this year. Suzuki's done his share as well, batting .268 against them. And this pitch has popped up. Carpenter near the Braves dugout won't have it play. That one's 5 rows up. So ball and a strike for tonight's AARP Take On Today feature, Kurt Suzuki.
Last 18 games, check it out. 364 average, 9 RBIs. Still doing damage. Comes in hitting over .270 tonight.
Gomber ready, brings it. And it's upstairs. Ball 2.
Kurt was getting a haircut yesterday in the clubhouse. I said, man, you need to leave some of that. He goes, I'm just trying to look younger.
They sponsored him as the AARP player.
There you go.
He must have found out.
2-1 is pulled foul. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Gomber was on a big roll for the Cardinals. He went 5-0 in August with a .238 ERA. But he got reminded of what can jump up and bite you in his last start against the Dodgers. 3 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs.
Talking to pitching coach Mike Maddox before the game, and he said he's really good when he's throwing his fastball to both sides of the plate. Yes, he has a good curveball, but if he just doesn't establish both sides, hitters dive out. And you could say that as a general statement for most starters. But when you have a good breaking ball and hitters will dive or cheat to get to it, it becomes more important that you establish the inside part of the plate, and he will do that to righties. The good news is Zook loves fastballs in, guys.
You bet.
Let's see if he gets one here with a 2-2 count. It was in, but too low. So a full count. Let's see what the Braves do here. Would you risk running against Molina with Kurt Suzuki and nobody out? You've got Ender Inciarte, a left-hand hitter, waiting on deck.
Send him. Just don't get picked off.
Not going. They did late. And the pitch is swung and missed, and the throw was off target. And how about the slide by Camargo? That was as easy pickings as Molina's ever going to get, but his throw was off target, and Wong was late getting to the second base bag as well. I think Camargo might have deked the second baseman into getting to the bag late.
Could have.
He had to handle a 91-mile-an-hour cutter that ran hard on the inside part of the plate and pulled it.
A 93-foot slide there by Johan almost cost him. Good thing he got that hand down.
So a runner at second, one out. Gomber has his second strikeout. And Ender is the batter.
First swipe of the year for Johan.
Ender's average climbing because of his work against left-handed pitchers. That is dramatically improved for him. We talked about that last night. Ender is 13 for his last 27 against left-handers after struggling mightily against them in the first half. And Molina smothered that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good news in Philadelphia. The Mets have taken a 1-0 lead. Steven Matz, the New York pitcher, has hit a home run off Aaron Nola, who has become home run prone all of a sudden in September. So it's 1-0 New York.
That's really home run prone if you give one up to Matz.
Little ground ball slowly hit toward Carpenter. He will take it to the bag. Runner at third, 2 outs. Nola has now given up 8 homers in his last 3 starts plus 3 innings tonight. So he's having a bit of a September fade. Hope that continues. And here's Culberson with Anibal Sanchez waiting on deck. We'll see if they pitch to Culberson or pitch around him here. And yes, wisely they will intentionally walk Charlie. And it's time for Anibal Sanchez to get rid of that donut. 0 for 36.
No, take it off his bat.
Well, that too. I think Sanchez saying something to Molina about that deep drive he hit to center field a moment ago. So first and third, 2 outs, no score, second inning.
Sanchez ops is .027, so there is a chance.
Good stop by Molina. You may have to throw it over the screen to get the ball past Yadier Molina.
Somewhere out of his reach. Absolutely.
Again, he is playing with a bad hamstring. Cardinals people tell us he's around 80 to 85% efficiency with that sore leg. Wouldn't know it in this series. Line drive and on 1 hop. Long is there. Hardest hit ball of the year for Anibal, but no luck. Braves can't cash in a leadoff error. They strand runners 2 and 3 through 2 scoreless innings at SunTrust Park.
back out for the Braves. And, you know, we've spoke so much about the success he has had on and off the field this year. Very much deserving for him. But whenever I sat down with him before today's start and asked him what the success this season has meant to him, he took a moment and he looked at me and he said a lot. Because at this time last year, he said he was deciding if he was done, if it was time to retire, and if he could even really pitch at this level anymore. And I asked him, what made you stay? What made you take another chance? And he said, after conversations with a former teammate and his wife, he decided to give it one more season because he didn't want to spend the rest of his life wondering what if. Chip, Joe, and Birdie were in game 151. He has about a 3 ERA, and the Braves are very glad to have him.
Oh, you know it, Kelsey. And I was going to ask Paul a similar question. I mean, you pitched a long time in the big leagues, but there had to come a time for you too, Paul, where you had to say to yourself, okay, what I've done in the past, the way I pitched, may not be working anymore. I'm getting a little older. I got to make some adjustments. Was that hard to do?
My whole career I had to make adjustments. I was not that good. What am I most proud of? That I survived and was able to adapt. This is a game of adjustments. It is a game of heart, desire, willingness to do what it will take to survive and make those changes. Sometimes you have to release a little ego. And so for me, when I had shoulder surgery and my shoulder squeaked like a door and had 4 tacks in it, and I was throwing 81, I realized I had to do something different. And I gained back 4 or 5 miles an hour, but I never was what I was before physically. So I had to get creative and do the double pump, the bending over, trying to be deceptive and add that element. And it's not just velocity. Sometimes you lose life. But this guy throwing right here, you cannot put a radar gun on his heart.
No.
He cares. He competes. He works both sides. He's fearless at times. Right there. And I love it.
And he leads.
Yes. Yeah, Chip, you and I have talked several times about how much we love watching him pitch.
And in this day and age of blistering radar gun readings and 99-mile-an-hour fastballs, this guy, I think, is the perfect pitcher to counteract that. As a breaking ball drills Colton Wong, and that's the first Cardinal base runner. If pitching, or excuse me, if hitting is timing and pitching is destroying timing, having a guy like Sanchez in between guys that can throw 95 miles an hour is a real nice weapon to have, I would think.
That changeup came out a little funny, got away from him. Well, if the Braves go on and advance into the postseason, he is smack in the middle of whatever talks they're going to have about the rotation for a playoff, if not at the top.
And I think, again, assuming the Braves make it, it depends on where they play. And against whom they play, which is still very much an open question in the National League. That's very close at first. Rockies, Cardinals, Dodgers. All very tightly packed.
As it sets up right now, we would play the Dodgers. Again, they haven't made it yet. Brian Snitker again talking about the day-to-day, which we've talked about. Take care of today. But you do think about these things, and that's our job. That's not the player's job. That's our job.
Yeah.
But yes, for me, he's in there in that rotation. He's up there because of his experience, because of what he's meant for the team, and because he's good. I mean, he's got a 3.01 ERA. 2013, he was the American League ERA leader with a 2.57 with Detroit. He's got a no-hitter in 06. He's very good.
Right.
Harrison Bader had the back-breaking home run for the Cardinals last night in the 8th inning. 3-run blast with 2 outs. After the Braves had gotten the game to 6-5, that shot made it 9-5. Terrific defensive outfielder. A player who's been given the opportunity to play by Mike Schilt because he is such a plus defender, and in this day and age, run prevention is almost as important as runs scored, especially for a Cardinal team that, like Atlanta, has a very young pitching staff.
Bader out of the University of Florida has 19 infield hits this year. Can really go.
Wong is running, and the pitch is fouled away. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
And Chip, you talked about his defense. Jerko said he's the best defensive outfielder he's ever played with.
That's saying something. He's been around a while.
They said he would be a Gold Glover, or certainly challenge for it if he was an everyday center fielder.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Colton Wong, the first Cardinal base runner. He's there on a hit batsman. And the pitch is caught on and missed. So Bader is strikeout victim number 4. 1 on, 1 out, and Austin Gomber's coming up.
Paul, these younger players, first-year type players, they're not used to seeing change-ups like this. This one that just dies at the plate.
And that's my point. Everybody wants to concentrate on velocity.
Yeah.
A lot of times we forget about results and what his pitches do to good hitters. Absolutely tied him up with that delivery. And now he's got the pitcher up, Gomber, who's had some good luck.
Yeah.
In fact, he's riding a 3-game hitting streak. He's got 4 hits in 16 tries this year. And he'll try to bunt. And fouled that away. Strike 1.
If you were to ask me how many pitches he has, I don't know. I would say 12 to 15. Because if you throw your slider 3 different speeds, that's 3 pitches for me. If you change speeds on your fastball, which he does, then he throws the eephus curve. He throws the eephus changeup every now and then. If you throw it a time or 2 a game, I got to count it.
Again to first, and Colton Wong back safely.
Well, just because he quote unquote reinvented himself doesn't mean he doesn't.
Runner goes. Pitch is a strike. The throw to second is going to be caught, and the tag applied. No argument by Wong, and what a great play by Culberson on a tailing throw from Suzuki.
Yeah, just because it's a little off the mark doesn't mean you can't still catch and tag. Got him before he got to the base.
And how about Culberson with the running man swipe pirouette around Wong? Very athletic.
And a swing and a miss takes the Cardinals out of the 3rd inning. He's faced the minimum through 3 with 5 strikeouts, and the top of the order coming up for Atlanta. Ozzie Albies and Freddie Freeman. The first three coming up for Atlanta. They get their second look at Austin Gomber in a scoreless game. Boy, how refreshing is the pitching of Anibal Sanchez. 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings and no hits.
Gotta like it. Back on the rails.
So our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature is Ronald Acuna. What a leadoff man he has turned out to be since July the 20th.
Not just since July 20th, folks. Project that over a full season. See how you like him.
Well, add 60% to all those numbers. Actually, you could add 62% to all those numbers because tonight Acuna is playing in his 100th major league game.
Okay. I was wondering how you came up with that.
Well, fingers and toes in the old abacus came in handy this afternoon. But how about that? 25 homers in your first 99 major league games.
I failed math class, so I'm still trying to figure it out. But he's good. And guys, it's everything. I know everyone wants to talk about the hitting and the power, and that's there. But he's fast. Second fastest in the league. Throws a ball in from the outfield over 100 miles an hour this year. Cannot do anything without being exciting. Even a routine fly ball, I find myself saying, God, that looked really good.
Well, and it's so great for the game that guys like Acuna and Soto for Washington. As this ball's hammered high and deep. Bader on the run, still going, track, wall, it's a goner, home run. Ronald Acuna, moonshot, and Atlanta strikes first.
But we can still talk about the hitting, right?
Well, let's go back to the hitting. Fastball away up. It was on the outer third of the plate, and guys, he popped that ball up.
I agree.
Wow.
No wind to speak of. He just muscled that baby a mile high and nearly a mile deep.
Did that reach the seats or land in the bullpen?
It ricocheted off the back wall of the bullpen.
Wow.
So his 26th home run, his 19th out of the #1 spot on the lineup. And the Braves have a lead for Anibal Sanchez tonight. But what a great story guys like Acuna and Soto have been. Harrison Bader for the Cardinals. We are seeing another great generation of young players come into the game. These aren't 23, 24-year-old guys. These are teenagers and 20-year-olds, Joe and Paul, that are doing things that 31-year-old guys wish they could do.
Guys in the American League too. We got to see Mookie Betts and those guys over in Boston, Benintendi. Now they may not be 20, but they're still young players who know how to play and play the game right. I was going to say about Acuna when you were talking about him, Paul, about the things that he does. Speed is certainly one of them, but he rarely throws to the wrong base. You know, he's got great instincts. He knows when he's got a chance to throw somebody out from the outfield. And for a young player with a real good arm, a lot of times you think you can throw out every guy.
Yeah. I think he is the answer to the Atlanta Braves' recent struggles, and I'm getting picky, but just over the last few days when everybody can panic a little bit and say, oh gosh, how good are they? And if they make the playoffs, how far are they going to go, or can they go anywhere? Talking to him before the game, I'm just going to have fun. And I'm going to have fun when the season's over because I'm 20 years old and I'm in the playoffs.
Freddie Freeman didn't get it, strike one.
And he credits his dad a lot with teaching them. His dad, Ronald Sr., struggled. And when he was in AA with the Mets and had Jose Reyes as a roommate, he struggled to handle failure. And so he would take an 0 for 3 back to the apartment and wouldn't be able to talk that evening. And so he reminded his son, and he said, play this game, have fun, do not let it absorb you.
That's to first. Big hop for Carpenter, and he'll take it to the bag for the second out. Well, I think it's pretty clear when we've seen the Braves all year long with Acuna, Albies, and Johan Camargo, there is no shortage of having fun with those three guys.
Nope.
So this big moment that the Braves are going through individually and collectively, Personally, I don't think that's going to have any effect on them at all. And we hope that'll be the case. Nick Markakis hits with a run in, 2 outs. Nick struck out to end the first inning. And a strike. Braves have hit a homer. They've scored first. Ronald Acuna Jr. leading off the 3rd inning. Another nice pitch.
Second out of 3 innings that the leadoff man has reached. Mentioned that his on-base percentage against him was .418 leading off an inning.
See, on this warm night, Gomber's sweating through that crimson Cardinal cap. Again, he's from Orlando, Florida. Heat and humidity ought not bother him. His 1-2 pitch. Just missed outside, 2-2. That smoked over first and headed for the right field corner. Markakis is sniffing out a 2-base hit. And he'll stand there with 2 outs. More 2-out magic for Nick, his 43rd double of the year.
Gomber throws that curveball 40% of the time to lefties when he has 2 strikes, and Cakes was waiting for it.
Sitting on it. They love to try to throw that left-handed batter the curveball to make them flinch. Guys like Nick don't flinch.
And with all the country western music they were playing before the game, I'm sure Nick realized this isn't his first rodeo.
No, you're right. Great music tonight.
As Johan Camargo, the batter, he hit a shot to third that Jerko played to the side, and it cost him an error. Johan later stole second and was left there in the 2nd inning. Mets still lead the Phillies 1-0. New York batting in the 4th inning against Aaron Nola. Whom the Phillies have lined up to face the Braves twice in those final critical series of the regular season. Phillies are in here Thursday night for a 4-game series. The 2-0 pitch.
So if he's pitching tonight, he would be scheduled to pitch again on Sunday. It might all be over but shouting by that time.
Might be. And after they leave Atlanta, the Phillies, remember, have to go to Colorado and play the Rockies. We'll be in New York to play the Mets and then finish the season at Citizens Bank. And ball 4 to Camargo. He's aboard for a 2nd time, and the long inning continues for Gomber. Kurt Suzuki, the batter, with 2 on and 2 out now, and the Braves in front. Whole series of signs for Yadier Molina before he gives the pitch signal. With 2 outs, and Suzuki backs away from ball 1. Gomber says that his confidence was really helped because he learned how to pitch at this level out of the bullpen. This is, if you will, a relief-like sequence. 2 on, 1-0 game. Try to put out the fire right here for Mike Maddox and Mike Schilt.
That used to be the way it was.
That's how you broke in.
You staircased your way up to the starting role if you were that kind of guy. But you had to start in the pen.
Most pitchers at this level, if they are a starter, 70% of the time they will throw out of the stretch. So it's important that you are comfortable out of the stretch, and that happens when you're a reliever.
That's the 25th pitch of the inning. His curveball has been a little iffy in this game. And now he's got a 3-0 count coming to Suzuki with Ender Inciarte next. And that's taken downstairs. Gomber wants to know high, low, in, out. He's frustrated. Molina wants an explanation from Vic Carapazza. Now Mike Maddox on his way out to the mound. The Braves have the bases loaded with 2 outs.
Well, and I'm going to be honest, I think he has a point here. But when you throw a ball wide, high, this and that, and then you hit the bottom corner of the zone, they don't always give you credit for it.
So here's the spot where we have seen Ender ambush a first or second pitch in a sequence. Run scoring spots. The Braves center fielder loves to get after it early in the count. He bounced out to first his first time up. Let's see if Gomber gives him something good to hit. The Braves can add to their 1-0 lead. The run came home on an Acuna homer.
After you walk a couple in the same inning, you may try as a pitcher to not be too fine. This is not a bad spot to ambush.
Base is full of Braves for Ender. Foul away. Strike one. Mets have added to their lead. It's 2-0. Dominic Smith with an RBI double. Phillies are coming up in the bottom of the 4th inning, down 2-0. A Phillies loss and a Braves win tonight means the magic number could be trimmed to 5. The 0-1. Just missed, even count. Now it looks like Gomber's trying to pitch 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Did you see the body language right there, Chip, where he just kind of flinched and turned his head real quick? That tells you he's struggling.
See if Ender can reel him in here. 2 balls and a strike. Fly ball hammered towards center, but right at Bader, who's got it. And Gomber's out of a big 2-out mess. A double and 2 walks, then a line out. But the inning started in great fashion. Ronald Acuna Jr. hit his 26th home run. That gives Atlanta a 1-0 lead as we head to the 4th at home. We go to the fourth inning. Carpenter, Martinez, and DeYoung are up for St. Louis. Sandoval Sanchez has faced the minimum through 3 innings. The only Redbird base runner, a hit batsman. Colton Wong was erased on a caught stealing. And Sanchez, with 5 strikeouts, is giving the Braves so far exactly what they hope to get tonight. Strike after strike after strike.
Both sides too, Chip. He's working both sides, mixing in the changeup. The only thing we haven't seen yet is the 69, 70 mile an hour butterfly.
I don't know how many he's going to walk this game, if any. I really don't care. He had 5 walks in his last start against the Giants. 99 pitches, 64 strikes, so he still threw a lot of strikes. But he's going to pitch. He's going to work both sides. He's going to throw all of his pitches. His goal is to attack, and however many guys he walks in that process, who cares? He's going to get the job done, just like we saw those numbers in San Fran.
Well, 84 miles an hour and right down the middle.
Let's face it, he's 6-5. He could easily have 10 wins easily with any kind of run support or finish to his games by the bullpen.
He's given up 14 earned runs in his last 8 starts. He has no wins in his last 7 starts despite a 3.28 ERA. He's not given up a homer in his last 4 games. I mean, what else can the man do besides brilliant pitching? I mean, he's been terrific.
He's giving his team a chance to win.
Strike 3. There's that outside corner. 6 strikeouts and 3 Cardinals in a row retire that way, 1 out.
His 3 strikes in that sequence, Paul. 1 was away, 1 was in, 1 was away.
No, everybody's guessing. They're confused. Do it, Sanchez. Outside corner, 90 miles an hour, and Carpenter, one of the best hitters in the league, is locked up. He was guessing and guessed wrong.
Here's Martinez. He took strike 3 in the first inning. Pitch was on the inside corner. He wasn't sure about it. And that one taken high, ball 1.
I loved the pregame comments from Brian Snitker talking to him, and he just said, guys, be aggressive. I don't care how many you walk. I'm not worried about it. And he said, if you were sleeping, trying to go to sleep in your bed, and somebody was sitting next to you saying, go to sleep, how would it help you? And he said it wouldn't. So he said, I don't tell them don't walk you. Don't walk anybody. Don't walk anybody. I just say attack, throw strikes. Sticking up for relievers and other pitchers. That's why everybody loves to play for this guy.
2-0 pitch. He has fouled off Suzuki's glove. 2-1 the count. I don't think there's any disputing, Joe, that the raw stuff of this Brave staff. How much of that comes from inexperience in trusting that stuff at times like this?
I think there's a lot to be said for that, Chip. But I go back to something I said last night, too, that you may not even realize it. You certainly won't want to admit it.
That ball smoked into left, and that's the first St. Louis hit. Acuna gets to it quickly, and he's going to hold Martinez to a long single. He's gesturing out to Acuna. He's got both of his hands up, saying, I'm not going anywhere, as he made his way back to first base.
As we pointed out last night, they're related.
Yes.
They're cousins, they're third cousins. So he's well aware of Ronald's ability.
Played on the same teams growing up in Venezuela as kids, and I know Acuna's much younger than him.
Oh, no, no, no. That was great. But my point.
DeYoung drives one to deep left on the next pitch. Acuna to the wall, won't get it. It's a home run. A single and a homer turns the game around for the Cardinals, who now lead 2-1. Second homer of the series for the Cardinals shortstop.
I don't know how this guy's hitting 235. He's a solid player. He's batting 3rd in their lineup. That's his 19th homer. Similar to the pitch he hit last night that was upstairs.
Yeah, can't miss there. The Cardinals getting after And a ball now early in the count. Makes sense with 6 strikeouts early. Don't get to 2 strikes.
Third and fourth inning. His problem innings.
One of your Ford keys tonight. So it's a 1-run St. Louis game as Ozuna fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Finish that thought quickly that I was not able to because of the home run. It's just that I think these guys are more tired than they think. You know, they just don't realize it. Even if they get a day off, they're not bouncing back. They're not able to bounce back as quickly as you would in April.
And let's not forget, the Braves had no friends when it came to scheduling. Not to use that as an excuse, but facts are facts, ma'am, as this one's popped up toward Freddie. And he'll make the play for the second out. The Braves had 5 scheduled off days from July 26 to the end of the season. One of those was wiped away by a makeup game with the Cubs. So from July 26th until September 30th, the Braves will have 4 days of rest. That is not much help. But they're not the only team that's dealing with that. The Cubs are playing their 29th game in 29 days tonight in Arizona. There will be some weary teams entering the final week. And Jerko early in the count drives one to right. And that'll end the inning for St. Louis. But DeYoung hits a 2-run homer and turns the game around. St. Louis 2, Atlanta 1. One-run game. This time St. Louis leads it as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Charlie Culberson, Anibal Sanchez, and Ronald Acuna Jr. coming up. And a bunt try is foul. Strike 1 for Culberson, who's our Bringing His Best feature, brought to you by Old Dominion, the official freight carrier of Major League Baseball.
You know, there are a lot of people who would vote for Acuna or Freddie Freeman or Nick Markakis for MVP in terms of position players this year, and that would be warranted. But maybe the guy that's been the most what's a good word for Charlie?
Unsung?
That's it. Most unsung hero for this team has been Charlie Culberson.
I'd like to see Major League Baseball come up with another award. You know, in the NBA, they have the 6th man of the year, best substitute.
Yeah.
Why not reward the 10th man?
Yeah.
Which could easily be Charlie Culberson this year. All those walk-off hits. Big plays defensively. Now trying to start the 4th inning. Another leadoff man, perhaps problematic for Gomber here, which has been an issue for him. He's fallen behind 3-1 for Culberson. Austin had a long inning in the 3rd. 7 Braves hit. And now Charlie lines one toward right center. Long run, Martinez cuts it off. And he's going to hold Culberson to a long single. So a good play in right for Martinez. And the Braves have another leadoff man aboard with Culberson's first hit of the night.
That was only a single, but he laser shot the other way, got out of the box and forced the issue, rounding first. It was only a single, but these outfielders know what's going on. You saw Martinez get rid of it quickly. Talking to Willie McGee earlier today, and he was talking about how impressed he is with the way the Braves run the bases.
He would know.
Yes, he would.
And he credited EY, talking about how much he's noticed a difference. And there's Willie. And you saw it right there. Even though it was a single, he forced the issue, and you saw the way the outfielders had to get rid of the ball.
Anibal tried to bunt, pops up, and no advance of the runner. That's a shame. And Carpenter almost threw that ball away. Molina had to go to a catcher's crouch and slide toward the pitcher's mound to catch that errant throw from the first baseman. That could have been disastrous for the Cardinals. Instead, it's 1 on 1 out for Acuna, who's homered tonight.
Launched this one belt high. Very high. 411 feet. Very long. Did you have it at 35 degrees, Paul? About right.
You know, most of them were 27, 28. I was thinking 32. I'm slipping.
That was high.
That was our StatCast AI powered by AWS. See if Acuna can chase home Charlie here in a 1-run St. Louis game. Tried to. And look at Gomber spinning off the mound. He might not have been real happy with that pitch location. They got away with it.
The inability to get the bunt down by Anibal Sanchez, another one of those things when you start talking about postseason that you've got to pay big time attention to, especially if you're 0 for the year. That's when you get an opportunity to make a good out, you got to take advantage.
So a ball and 2 strikes, and a close play at first.
Nice move. Little Steve Avery step off.
Once he does that and shows that move, all the base runners on the bench are talking.
Good take. That's another impressive thing about Acuna since moving into that #1 spot. His strike zone knowledge, his patience at the plate. He's not just up there trying to shillelagh everything he sees out of the ballpark. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss that time, however, and 2 are out. 4 strikeouts for Gomber, and Albies the hitter. Ozzy's 0 for 2. Got to get Ozzy going. He's 3 for his last 16.
He's had good numbers against lefties, though.
That is our Zaxby's indescribably good play tonight.
343 average and 178 at bats. 18 of his 68 RBIs.
That's fouled right side, even count, 1-1. They go to the 5th inning in Philadelphia. Mets 2, Phillies nothing. Here it's 2-1 St. Louis. Paul DeYoung has hit a 2-run homer. Ronald Acuna a solo shot for the Braves.
I would not mind seeing Culberson try to take a bag right here, get in scoring position, 2 outs.
If he makes it, great. If he doesn't, then Albies leads off the 5th.
I would rather Albies lead off than Freeman.
Two and two.
In addition to having a good arm, Yadier Molina is like a middle infielder. When a guy is trying to steal, he's catching and getting rid of it so quickly. Good combination of quickness and a good arm. And he is still 27% caught stealing.
And Ozzie can't lay off that high fastball. He swings through it twice in a row, and Gomber works around the leadoff hit from Charlie Culberson. Molina leads off the 5th for the Cardinals. It's 2-1.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
It'll be Yadier Molina leading off for St. Louis. It is, as always, the Audi 5th inning presented by Q5. Yadier Molina, fly to deep center his first time up. Molina had one of the most remarkable statistics earlier this season for St. Louis. You guys know how hot and humid it is playing at Busch Stadium near the Mississippi River, right? This man made 28 consecutive starts in his age 36 season behind the plate. Think about that. As he drives another one toward the Braves bullpen, but Ender's going to catch that at the edge of the track. Molina just missed. He's 0 for 2.
That's incredible. I remember the game in St. Louis where Fulte was dealing for 4. And in the 5th ran into a wall and had to come out after a certain amount of pitches. I was down in the well, overheating, starting to get delirious. You guys called me up to the booth. Allowed me to do a half inning with you guys just so I wouldn't end up in the hospital. St. Louis, similar to Africa.
Yeah, the savannah.
Yes.
Right by the arch. Yeah, if you look closely, you can see the impalas and the gazelles and the lions wading across the river.
A lot of people don't know that.
I had never heard that before.
Yes.
Line into center, that almost took Anibal with it. Colton Wong has a hit. That's payback for getting hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning.
Change up, but it stayed up.
So Wong hits one, got hit by one. So the changeup tally is even for Colton Wong tonight. And here's Bader, who struck out his first time up
on a changeup.
So let's see if the Cardinals are looking for that, and let's see if Anibal, whose strength is the changeup, believes his strength is better than the Cardinals. There's a strike. It's even 1-1. Bader was a 3rd-round pick by St. Louis. You look up and down their lineup card, you look up and down their organization. Yeah, they've got their share of number 1s. Gomber's a 4th-round pick. Bader's a 3rd-round pick. And like the Braves, they have always drafted and developed exceptionally well in St. Louis.
Top 5 feet per second, sprint speed.
Two balls and a strike. And a ground ball up the middle. That's going to sneak through for a hit. And Wong around second is going to make it to 3rd. No chance for Ender. And they've got him at the corners for the pitcher with 1 out.
Bottom part of the order did a lot of damage last night. Wong with a home run, Bader with a home run. Although Bader's was at the top of the order after he came in late in the game, his only at bat. And this guy can hit.
4 hits, 4 RBIs this year for Gomber, who struck out his first time up.
Camargo playing in at 3rd. They'll try and get 2 up the middle.
And bunted foul. He does have 2 sacrifices.
Must have missed a sign.
I think he did. It looked like a safety squeeze.
Nice to see Jose Oquendo back on the lines and in uniform for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Oquendo took a medical leave of absence for knee surgery before the 2016 season. Last year was a special assistant for John Mozeliak and assisted Cardinals minor league players. So this is his 17th year as the Cardinals' 3rd base coach. There's the bunt. Runners coming home, and the ball sniffed that out, and the tag applied. Good play by Sanchez. Colton Wong is out at the plate. Good coordination with Suzuki. The Cardinals are going to take a look at this play at the plate. For the moment, that's the 2nd out.
That was absolutely beautiful, Chip. As a pitcher, this is what you're talking to. They were working on PFPs earlier today at 3 p.m. at the park. Did not have time to go to the glove. Grabs it with his hand and gets Colton. If loving you is Wong, I don't want to be right. Out at the plate, that's a huge out.
Now, is Mike Schilt going to come out and say that Suzuki blocked the baseline without the baseball? The Cardinals might take a look at this play. Kurt did not have the ball, but he was in the act of retreating and catching the ball, which you are allowed to do.
Yeah, the toss was high. Might have even been signaling to first base. Oh, there's a path there. Catching the ball, stepping to catch the ball is a different act, though, like you said, Chip.
And he's clearly out. I mean, he got the tag down. This should be a very quick confirmation of the call, I would think. And in about 10 seconds, they're going to say he is out. So why not? If you're St. Louis, challenge the call. Maybe you get lucky and steal a run. But a great play by Sanchez, and Suzuki earns the second out. And now Carpenter hits with runners at first and second. Might be the shortest review of the year.
23 seconds.
That was interesting there. Anibal wanted to throw a pitch. I'm not sure, you know, with all of his leg issues during the course of the year, maybe he wanted to test it a little bit.
Yeah, he's had a hamstring problem a time or two, and he got stepped on in San Francisco. So here's Matt Carpenter. He's a 13th round pick. How about that? Potential MVP taken in the 13th round 9 years ago. This man was hitting a .140 in May with no power.
Anibal got hit in the leg with a line drive too, didn't he? And calf.
And was taken out for precautionary reasons because of that. But he's had Carpenter's number so far in this game. He's struck him out twice.
Good changeup the first time and froze him with the heater away for the second. That's a huge play by Sanchez. If he doesn't make that play, Braves are down 3-1 and there's only one out, base runners.
And I don't know what Kurt was saying, but I could have sworn he was pointing to first base. But Anibal really didn't have a play at first either.
1-1 pitch. Caught on and missed. Carpenter over the top. He's a 35 home run man. And 77 RBIs. Very fast runner at second base. The pitcher's at first with 2 outs. An awkward swing there by Carpenter, who has been guessing all game long.
He can't pick up on Sanchez's changeup right there. He's reading fastball every time. He's frustrated. I love it.
Whoa, just missed.
Almost got it to back up. 92 busted him in.
And that's the beauty of Anibal. He's got 92 or 93 when he needs it 3 or 4 times in a game. And he just missed the inside corner there. So it's 2-2. Trying it again, and it just missed. So now the runners will go with 2 outs.
Good calls, both of them, by Vic Carapazza. Just missed.
Will he go back and pull the string and throw that changeup? He certainly has him set up for it.
The runners go. The pitch is cut on and missed. Carpenter strikes out for the 3rd time. The Braves sniff out a bunt play, wipe out a potential run at the plate, and come up in the 5th with Freddie Freeman down only 1.
Bottom of the 5th inning, Freddie Freeman set to lead off for the Braves. And you know, all season we've seen a lot of young talent come up through the ranks, and the Braves officially announced their 2018 minor league award winners, and that is our SunTrust Confidence Play tonight. So starting with tomorrow's starter, Touki Toussaint, named the Braves minor league pitcher of the year. He led all minor leaguers for the Braves with a 2.38 ERA. And then you see third baseman Austin Riley getting the Hank Aaron Award for the Braves minor league player of the year. He was also named Gwinnett's player of the year. He hit .294 with 30 doubles and 19 home runs over 108 games this season. Colby Allard also named Gwinnett's pitcher of the year. Guys, a lot of talent still to come, a lot of talent that we've gotten to see this year already.
That's going to make for a very fun and entertaining spring training 2019, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely it will. Touki goes tomorrow. 12-10 first pitch against Jack Flaherty. 8-7 on the year.
So Atlanta thwarts a bunt play and takes away a potential run. Let's see if they can get it tied or take the lead here against Gomber. Freddie Freeman has singled and bounced out to first. And the first one in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Just in case you wondered, last year the Braves Phil Niekro Award winner in the minor leagues was Mike Soroka. Any guesses as to the minor league hitter of the year was for the Braves last year?
I got a good idea.
I'll bet you do. Yeah, it was Ronald Acuna Jr. Well, what wonderful honors. You have an award named after Phil Niekro and Ronald and Henry Aaron, and you win it. Pretty awesome.
Pocket full of seeds.
Upstairs, ball 3. Gomber's had a couple of 3-1 counts. Charlie took advantage of one last time up and singled. He was left stranded. Late call at the very bottom of the zone.
Out of sight, out of mind. Mike Soroka. Didn't have to undergo surgery as far as I know, just shut down because of some shoulder soreness. But he'll certainly factor in next year, provided he's healthy again, because he was terrific.
Wow.
Got his first win against the Mets.
I still remember him overmatching Asdrubal Cabrera with a sinker on the outside part of the plate, and Asdrubal came up scratching his head.
Pop fly foul and out of play. Well, the Braves have gotten a lot of mileage out of their first-year pitchers this year. Mike Soroka, Touki Toussaint, Bryce Wilson, Max Fried. Fried beat the Cardinals. He struck out 11 Cardinals up in St. Louis.
Boy, he was terrific. Hot weather.
Line by Freeman. That's headed for the gap. Martinez will cut it off. Freddie, big turn. He's not going anywhere. And for the second straight inning, the Braves have a leadoff single, and they've put their leadoff man on now, Joe, in 4 consecutive frames.
Time to get him around. Fastball right there. Not going to sneak that by Freeman. You can see the reaction over to the left side of your screen from Gomber over his mislocation. Very upset with himself.
Marquez doubled in the third. That came with 2 outs. Braves got a couple of walks, and Ender lined out to end the threat. There's that hook. It was a good one that time. 0-1. Double play ball, maybe. There's one. Throw to first is going to be late. Marquez hustled down the line to keep that sequence alive. Freeman forced it second. Camargo hits with 1 out.
Really nice move right here by Wong. Spin move, got rid of it quickly. Marquez busting it down the line.
And not jumping or lunging at the bag, Paul, just running full stride through there.
Remember, the Cardinals out of challenges. They challenged that play at the plate and lost, so no chance for them to argue that play, even had it been closer. So here's Camargo. He's reached on an error and walked. He's also stolen a base. 2-1 St. Louis. We are in the 5th. Johan didn't swing. Ball 1.
Gomber at times effectively wild. Pitching coach Mike Maddox says that he's like Jim Furyk on the golf swing. You wouldn't teach it, but you don't mess with it. He's funky, herky-jerky, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it makes him hard to hit.
I can see a little Alex Wood in him, the way he takes the ball back. I can see a little Clayton Kershaw in him, the way he sort of pauses and then has that extra little leg kick.
And he's a big guy. We were talking about earlier, nicknamed the Big G, 6'5".
Well, you know, he's not the real G. The real G money, that is. That, of course, former Braves catcher Gerald Laird. 2 balls and a strike. And tipped away, 2-2.
Another great guy.
Thought I saw Gerald Laird was coaching somewhere this season. I'm not sure where.
He'd be a good one. Be like Sal Fasano, you know, a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience.
Guys respect him and listen to him. Gomber's first major league start, he threw 6 no-hit innings, and then Votto singled with 1 out in the 7th. Also struck out 16 against the Iowa Cubs this year, April 23rd. So he's got great stuff. Great potential. The Cardinals want to see that potential developed.
I can see that. I can see why and how he won 5 games in August. He does have good stuff.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And again, back to first.
Fastball's not overwhelming, but if he locates it well, then he's going to be just fine in the low 90s.
Doesn't that solve 90% of a pitcher's problems?
Yeah.
Real well located fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a fly ball toward right center. Harrison Bader is there, sets up in case Markakis thought about moving up. That ball too shallow for that to happen. And that's the second out. Kurt Suzuki's coming up. Well, Gomber has had base runners all over the place. He had 1 in the first, stranded 2 in the second inning. Acuna hit the homer, then the Braves left him loaded in the third. Culberson led off with a single in the 4th. Freeman led off with a single here in the 5th. He was erased on a force play. And now Nick Markakis stands at first with 2 out. So far the Braves have left 7 men on base.
A typical Anibal Sanchez game.
Pitch great,
but not enough support.
A lot of offense. John Brebbia is up and throwing in the St. Louis pen, a pen that might be a little short tonight. We were told before the game the pitch is popped into shallow center. That's going to get down for a hit. Markakis read that beautifully. Bader bobbles the ball, but no further advance. So a base hit for Suzuki puts runners at the corners, 2 out.
Zook did a nice job staying on that cutter. As you see, it comes back towards the middle of the plate. Little golf shot over second base.
Well, I can understand why they've been making errors if their outfielders are trying to pick up base hits barehanded. A couple of errors last night gave the Braves some breathing room. Munoz made a couple of errors in 1 inning.
Gomber's been stingy so far this year. Hitters hitting 185 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Good cut there by Ender again. Runners in scoring position. First pitch swing fouled away. Strike 1. Cardinal pen might be a little shallow tonight. Doubtful we'd see Carlos Martinez. Dakota Hudson probably won't pitch either after nearly 2 innings of work. And that just missed low. That was called a strike earlier in the inning.
Well, missing his target, and which forced Molina to catch the ball to his backhand and take the pitch down, took it out of the zone.
There's that big curveball. And now it's 1-2 with 2 strikes. DeYoung now moves a little further away from the second base bag at shortstop. Big spot for a big hit for Atlanta. We're in the 5th, still a 1-run game. Well pitched by Anibal Sanchez and Austin Gomber. Seeing him for the first time. See why the Cardinals like him a lot.
We'll probably go back to the curveball right here. He likes to go to it almost 50% of the time ahead in the count to lefties. And Ciarte was right on that fastball at 94 up and away, just missed it.
Still got to respect the heater though, behind in the count, then adjust.
Cardinals have tried to get the Braves to chase that high fastball quite a bit tonight. Ender didn't that time.
That's tough. Don't want to cut fastball at 90.
Two pitch is lined toward left, but Ozuna is there, and that will retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We go to the 6th. In baseball history brought to you by Geico. September 18th, 2003, the Braves clinched their 12th straight division title on an off day. Second place Florida was mathematically eliminated from the National League Eastern race. In 2003, the Braves lost in the National League Division Series to the Cubs 3-2, with Kerry Wood winning 2 games in that 5-game series. But guys, it brings up an interesting question. If you clinch your division on an off day, when do you have the celebration?
Next day, after the game, win or lose.
I was on that team, so I ran around my house a few times.
Nice. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Kim spray with champagne just for fun?
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jose Martinez leads off against Anibal, leading off the 6th inning.
Who's the first guy you saw wear ski goggles in a celebration? Who broke those out?
That is a good question.
I remember Don Sutton wearing a raincoat and a nor'easter hat. He looked like the Gorton fisherman down there doing interviews once.
I was going to dump some champagne on Don's head, and he threatened me.
Did he?
I can't say what he told me on air.
Well, you can once.
I saw the competitor come out. Let's just put it that way.
Ground ball toward Charlie. Tricky hop stayed with it, and his throw on the money for out number 1.
Let's just say champagne and dippity-doo don't go together.
One away for DeYoung, who's the villain. Back-to-back hits for the Cardinals in the 4th. Turned into 2 runs on back-to-back pitches. Martinez single, then DeYoung on the very next one hit a home run to left center, and that put the Cardinals in front. That's where we stand, 2-1.
I agree with Joe. He is the best .237 hitter in the game. $19 homers on the year and batting 3rd for the Cardinals, and you will rarely see someone hitting .237 in the 3-hole.
DeYoung lives in Orlando. He's out of Antioch, Illinois High School. He was a 4th-round pick, and they've already locked him up through the 2023 season with 2 option years tacked at the end for St. Louis.
What were his numbers last year, Chip?
108 games, 25 homers, 65 RBIs, 12 errors, and 55 runs scored.
See, that's Ronald Acuna like. Acuna's at his 100th game. He's got 26 and 57. This guy came up and just went crazy. Remember, they had Diaz,
Aledmus
Diaz, and this guy, and Diaz got hurt, and this guy just said, "Okay, show's over. I got this."
Well, he finished 2nd to Cody Bellinger for the Rookie of the Year in the National League with those terrific numbers. And it's safe to say he broke in with a bang. Made his major league debut last May 28th in Colorado and hit a pinch hit homer off Greg Holland. And became the 9th Cardinal player to homer in his big league debut at bat.
Broke his hand this year on a hit by pitch, missed 8 weeks.
Well, that'll put a crimp in your batting average.
It will, and I'm getting picky. He's 19 home runs, pretty darn good when you miss that amount of time and you had a broken hand.
Right.
They say plays very solid defense. Not incredible, but very good, solid defensive shortstop. And a smart player who's very even keel.
Full count for Sanchez. And there's that butterfly, 68 miles an hour. Beautiful.
I was missing it.
How about this outside part of the plate, borderline ephus. Change up that he took even more off of it, not with his arm, but with his feet. And you don't see that pitch in the minor leagues.
Explain that. With his feet. What do you mean?
So he sold it. It's 68, but you can curl your toes on your back right foot where you can't push off. You have to take the explosion from your hips out of it. So you finish on that first foot and you sell it as hard as you can, but because the rest of your body is not into the pitch, it comes out slower.
Love it.
So the hitters see great arm action and it just simply doesn't get there and dies.
So with his 8th strikeout, he's 1 away from matching his season high of 9 set on August 3rd against the Mets, and he's got Ozuna set up for that. One would think this would be Anibal's last inning. And I know he's pitching great, but he's up 2nd in the 6th inning. Braves only have 1 run against Austin Gomber. And he threw it again, and Ozuna couldn't catch up. 9 strikeouts for Anibal Sanchez. 3 up, 3 down. Charlie Culberson leads off the 6th. Great pitchers duel in Atlanta tonight in Game 2. Memberships for 2019 are available now for the Delta Sky 360 Club. As a club member, you'll take in the games in padded field level seats behind the plate with complimentary in-seat food and beverage service, VIP parking, and a whole lot more. It's the perfect way to entertain clients and prospects. For a full set of Delta Sky 360 Club benefits, go to Braves.com/premium. John Brebbia is on to pitch. Gomber went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, a run, walked 3, struck out 5, and surrendered the Acuna homer.
Brebbia has been solid, 54 strikeouts and 45 1/3. He's got a 2-seamer, 4-seam, slider, and change.
And he showed all of that off in the 9th inning last night, where he walked 1 and struck out the next 3. So Charlie Culberson's been on base twice. He led off the 4th with a single. And couldn't check his swing there on a nasty slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Told you about Brebbia last night. Got him from the Arizona Diamondbacks in the AAA phase of the Rule 5 draft. After 2 years of independent league baseball. After the Yankees let him go. And Arizona could sure use an arm like Brebbia in their bullpen now. The relief corps has been under the gun the last month or so, but he starts off the 6th inning with a swing and a miss, and it will be Preston Tucker for Sanchez. What a night for Anibal. 6 innings of 2-run, 9 strikeout ball, but again at the moment he's on the short end of the decision.
Did what he needed to do to bounce back, give the Braves a good outing. He's done that. Braves are in the game. We'll see if they can counter.
And the best number of all, no walks.
Not a 1.
He did hit a batter. but surrendered just 4 hits. So it'll be Preston Tucker for Atlanta. Batting with 1 out, nobody aboard in the 6th.
They just moved to the shift. Jerko goes over and at the rover.
Swing and a drive that's rocketed toward the pin, but Bader is gonna get there. Thought he got it, but the park big enough to hold it, and that's the 2nd out. And Brebbia tapping his chest to say, got away with one there. Meanwhile, the Phillies have tied their game 2-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning against the Mets. Steven Matz has been taken down for New York. And a swing and a miss by Ronald, who homered back in the 3rd. He's also grounded out and struck out. Slider strike.
Side note on Brebbia, he lives in Vinings. Teaches kids in the offseason at a sports complex called Pinnacle. He's done that since the Yankees let him go, and he played a couple years in independent baseball.
Well, it's a short hop over here to the ballpark for a few days.
I like his story of adversity and loving baseball.
That's pulled off the plate, 2-2.
But I hope he gives up a few runs here.
You bet. Acuna asked for time. It was granted.
Molina's trying to get Brebbia to nod no before he even gives a sign. He wasn't getting any cooperation.
Now he's ready. The pitch. And it's strike 3 to Acuna. And that'll take care of the Braves in the 6th. 2 strikeouts for Brebbia.
Refreshing finish, and this goes to Anibal Sanchez tonight. Just an outstanding effort. 9 strikeouts, no walks. He gave up 2 runs in 6 innings, and they were on back-to-back pitches. A single and a homer are the only blemish on what was an outstanding night for him. His teammates have just got to pick him up here and take him off the hook. Get a few runs off of the Cardinals bullpen.
Brad Brock is going to come on and pitch now with Jerko, Molina, and Wong coming up for St. Louis. We're in the 7th already. And bad news in Philadelphia. The Phillies just got a 3-run homer, and they now lead the Mets 5-2 in the 6th inning at Citizens Bank. Braves led 1-0 on an Acuna homer after 3. Cardinals got 2 in the 4th. And now Brock will go to work, and that's blistered right on by Jerko. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Talking about herky-jerky, you see the numbers. Lefties hit him much better than righties, but he does have a good changeup, as we see right there. Also slider, and can run that fastball up to 95, but again, herky-jerky and has some deception.
Well, the right-handers have a hard time picking him up, Paul. He hides the ball well, throws across his body just a little bit. Hard to see the ball, as you see here. Lefties have a much better look at him.
That's the 10th Cardinal to be retired on strikes. First for Brad Brock. Stick around for the middle of the 7th inning. It's the stretch presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Molina has flied out to center twice, so he's 0 for 2. Braves will have Albies, Freeman, and Markakis coming up in their half of the 7th. And that's in for a strike. 0-1. Braves are running into a Cardinal team that is playing inspired baseball. They're 35-22 since the All-Star break. And they are fighting for their playoff lives against St. Louis with a 1/2 game lead over Colorado for the 2nd wild card. Milwaukee is the top wild card team. They're 3 games ahead of the Cardinals, and the Redbirds and Brewers have 3 games head-to-head left. Hugely important games for the Cardinals, and certainly for the Braves as well, who want to trim that magic number down, which currently stands at 7 for the Eastern Crown. Lasered out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Team I feel the worst for this year is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes.
Tampa Bay is 83-66 on the year. Do you know that if the baseball gods were fair, they would lead the American League Central, the National League West, and the National League East? Instead, they are eliminated from the AL East and are 19.5 behind the Red Sox. Amazing. Brock strikes out Molina, 2 out.
Not only is that a great record for Tampa Bay, but it's in the toughest division in baseball.
Top 2 teams are squaring off tonight, by the way, the Red Sox and Yankees. Aaron Judge back in the lineup for New York. Boston needs 1 win in that series to eliminate the Yankees from division hopes. Boston with 103 wins on the year. Here's Wong. Strike 1.
Oh, that's close. A little off the plate, but a good try. Again, with left-handers, he can't work the same way as he does to the right-handers, where he can crossfire them as it comes right into the lefties.
but he can do that. That was an effective pitch. Good changeup. Evens the count for Colton Wong, who's been hit by a pitch. He's singled, and he was thrown out at the plate on a bunt by Austin Gomber back in the 5th. That's proving to be a huge play in this game. And that went right back where it came from. Nearly a cap scraper for Brad Brock.
Wong's having a heck of a series so far. Fastball away after the changeup. Not too bad a pitch. And he hit it right back up the middle.
Yeah, Brad got too good a look at that.
Good thing he has a central nervous system.
Bader has singled and struck out. Keep an eye on Wong. He's 6 out of 11 in steals, and a bunt try, and the throw to first is in time. Thank you very much. Harrison Bader tried to throw a surprise party, and the Braves sniffed that out, and that sends us to the 7th inning stretch. It's presented by Synovus. Heart of the order coming up for Atlanta in a 1-run game. First, let's enjoy the stretch.
Welcome to the stretch, presented by Synovus, the bank of here.
Welcome to the stretch, presented by Synovus. Jerome and Brian out on the Fox Sports set, right outside the right field gate here in the Battery. And as we go into these final 2 weeks of the season, final homestand and the week off in New York and Philadelphia to close it out, nothing is even close to being over here in this wild National League playoff hunt, BJ. As we take a look at it, the Braves with the biggest lead of any of the division, 6.5. Their magic number is at 7 right now. You see the Cubs just trying to hold off the Brewers and the Cardinals. And out west, it's crazy between the Dodgers and the Rockies. In that wild card, the Rockies a half a game behind St. Louis. And we all know how the Cardinals are playing good ball. Rockies, bad news for them recently. And that, of course, is Trevor Story. Having the best season of his career, had to leave the game in L.A. Not good when your shortstop can't throw the ball. Got serious elbow issues, although, as you could see, the testing says no UCL damage, which is good news. He's going to have to rest at least a couple of days, BJ.
Well, you know what? That's a tough injury. And we've seen some guys end up having Tommy John out of an injury like that. And then you just cross your fingers. I know if you're Colorado that that's not the case. Yes, it's an inflammation, but we'll see what happens.
And this is why that's such a huge story. As you can see, the Rockies sitting there, these are the best records in the National League, and they are right on the heels of the Braves.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Philadelphia has to go out there and play Colorado, so we need Colorado's help. But at the same time, we don't want them to win too much because the Braves won home field in that first round.
Well, at the end of the day, man, the Braves are going to have to start winning and control their own destiny. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of days.
All right, before we get you back up to the booth, how about a quick word from our friends at Synovus?
Visit Synovus for your banking, lending, and investing needs. Proudly serving you across the Southeast. Synovus, the bank of here.
Good job on the stretch, fellas. Couldn't agree more. Time for the Braves bats to go to work. Won't be easy. Flame-throwing Jordan Hicks is the man on the mound for St. Louis, trying to protect a 2-1 lead after 6.5.
Got a day off yesterday, so he'll probably throw even harder.
That is a legit 101 miles an hour, and it is easy.
Jairo Munoz checks in at third base, double switch for the Cardinals. You don't often say when a guy comes in, this guy sits around 100 to 104.
Averages 100.5 miles an hour. Also has a slider at 87.
And there it was.
That's not fair.
Hicks was a supplemental third-round pick of the Cardinals in 2015, born in Houston, Texas. Out of Cypress Creek High School. He was going to play at Tulane. And then the Cardinals got him signed. And he blows away Ozzie with 100 miles an hour. There's out number 1 in the 7th. Hicks just turned 22. So talk about young superstar caliber players. A guy with an arm like this. Think of a right-handed Aroldis Chapman.
Look at that ball move.
It's a two-seamer, which again not fair. When you throw a average 100.5, also have a two-seamer and slider that has really good action. This young man has a very bright future. And Joe, I don't know if there's something in the water in Texas. We've heard this story before.
Freddie Freeman, the batter, and foul that one away at 99. No balls and a strike.
Cowboy boots and power arms.
And what we're seeing in this game, again, you talk about getting playoff tested and playing playoff type games before they happen, assuming you get there. Well, this is what you see. If your starter can get through 5 innings in a playoff game and you've got power arms, major league managers are not afraid to unleash them for the final 4 innings, even with a 1-run lead. Fly ball foul by Freeman. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I want you to watch his arm action. His hands are high. He drops his arm, and it's very fluid. So he gains all of the momentum of coming down quickly. It never stops. When you saw Gomber, he had that little stab at the bottom and herky-jerky. This is very, very fluid and explosive.
And that's pulled toward first, but right to Carpenter, who will save his pitcher a few steps. And Freeman's retired. He's 2 for 4, and quickly 2 are out. Wave after wave of power arms is what you see in postseason play, and Brebbia and Hicks certainly have been that in this series so far. Here's Markakis. He doubled back in the 3rd. He started a 2-out rally for Atlanta. Bases were loaded, but Ender hit it on the button, lined out, and that ended the Braves' threat. Even the umpire's backing out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't blame Vic Carapazza a bit.
Nope. He was so happy that he had Yadier Molina in front of him.
Yeah, I'm not sure Yadier was real thrilled about this pitch.
I think we even heard some yells up here in the press box.
1 ball, no strikes.
You watch Yadier Molina move around back there behind the plate. I know he's got a bad hamstring right now, but his quads have got to be so strong.
Oh, man.
Because he rarely stands up. He just stays in the squat or goes down to his knees. Scoots around back there when he sets up.
The play foul. 2 balls and a strike. One of the game's great players, Yadier Molina.
One of the great catchers of all time.
No doubt. No doubt.
Very easy to pull for, works extremely hard.
The 2-1 pitch. And when you look at Molina in the ranks of Cardinals greats, we've talked about them a lot. We know how historic the Braves franchise is. Molina's in the top 6 in games played among all Cardinals ever. Top 10 in at-bats. Top 10 in hits. Top 11 in doubles.
If he plays out his contract, he'll be even higher than that.
4-time Platinum Glove Award winner for defensive excellence. As a full count pitch is coming from Markakis.
That alone's Hall of Fame stuff to me.
And as a hitter, it's really hard to wear equipment that's heavy and be involved in every pitch and block and then come up in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning and swing the bat when your legs are gone.
Well, he had no trouble last night, basically hitting a one-legged two-run homer into the Atlanta bullpen. And tonight he's held the Braves to 1 run with his work in battery. Fly ball center. Bader retreats, still going back, and has just enough room. Markakis squared it up, but Jordan Hicks works a 1-2-3 7th and preserves a St. Louis lead.
We realistically ask, you can't expect the Phillies to lose every night, can you? Up to Philadelphia for our Xfinity game break. New York was up 2-0. Philly tied it at 2. And then with 2 on, Jorge Alfaro, his 10th of the season, a 3-run shot. That 5-run 6th inning has him on top now as they have moved to the 7th, fellas. It is still Phillies 5, Mets 2.
And here, Jerome, it's still 2-1 St. Louis after 7 innings. Brad Brock is back to work. Yairo Munoz will lead things off. He's in the number 9 spot for St. Louis. Carpenter and Martinez will follow. Brad Brock gave up a hit, struck out 2 in his first inning of work tonight.
Munoz having a good year. This is their version of Charlie Culberson.
Saw him play the outfield last night, not particularly well. And now he plugs in to play third base for the final couple of innings for St. Louis. Doesn't look all that comfortable right now at the plate, as that one's lined out of play. What did that hit?
Nice try by the ball boy. Diving effort.
Oh, look how excited that young fan is.
Made his night.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes for Yairo Munoz. And a chopper hit toward third. Nice read, and a perfect throw retires him. 1 out. Braves Fantasy Camp is back in January 2019. As a Braves Fantasy Camper, you'll report to Orlando, Florida. You'll get a personalized uniform in your own locker, quality time with Braves alumni, and much, much more. Space is limited. Sign up for fantasy camp now at braves.com/fantasycamp. So that's going to take care of Brad Brock, an inning and a third of 1 hit relief. Good job by him. Top of the order, new pitchers Johnny Venters will tell you about his season after the break.
Your local Ford dealer, the Georgia Lottery, and by the All-South Highway Safety Team. The All-South Highway Safety Team reminds you to play it safe by always wearing your seatbelt.
Now the beautiful night at beautiful SunTrust Park. Sadly, the Cardinals still lead it 2-1 with 1 out, nobody aboard in the top of the 8th inning. Enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Johnny Venters in the game for the Braves. ERA 2.64. He has been outstanding against both righties and lefties, a ground ball machine. And what's so impressive about those numbers, he allowed 5 runs in 1 inning of work and only got 1 out in his only start pitching for Tampa Bay in the opener as a reliever. He's been even better.
Yeah, it's an ERA killer, isn't it? You pitch an inning, give up 5, and then you're a specialist the rest of the way. Let's see if he can take care of Carpenter, who's got the hat trick. 3 strikeouts for Matt tonight, and so far hitless in this series.
All the strikeouts against Anibal Sanchez,
who evened his season high with 9 of them in 6 innings. And hits on back-to-back pitches have been the story for the Cardinal offense tonight. A Martinez single, a DeYoung homer in the 4th inning turned around a 1-0 Braves lead. And a 4-pitch walk, which is the frustrating of frustrating for Chuck Hernandez and Brian Snitker.
and that has not been an issue for Johnny Venters particularly. And he's been very good, retiring 33 of 42 first batters he's faced coming in.
Every pitch was a fastball that missed arm side. This is where the catcher may call a pitch, may sit middle, playing the fade.
Martinez singled and scored. He struck out and bounced out. 1 for 3 on the night.
It wouldn't be such a big deal, although late inning walks leading off an inning are never a good thing. But given the number of walks that have scored lately against Atlanta, just raises red flags immediately.
One ball, no strikes. And as remarkable as the walk numbers are, as Suzuki's going to go out for a visit, in the month of September, including the walk by Venters here, Braves staff has walked 92 men. That's 5.7 walks per 9 innings. The Braves have given up 78 runs. 35% of those have come as a direct result of the walk. Yet, believe it or not, the Braves are 9-7 in September.
Yeah. And have gained ground.
4.5 games.
Again, Snit's message to the relievers: be aggressive, attack the zone instead of thinking don't walk them.
Yeah, Tommy Glavine was talking about that with us, Paul. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They know they're walking a lot of guys. It's a very different thing to say, I guess, throw strikes as opposed to don't walk.
No, exactly. And you want to feel that it's okay to walk somebody. If you have a coach that's a screamer and you walk somebody and you hear them yell from the dugout, that's the last thing you need. You need a staff that says make mistakes. Just be aggressive and attack. You're not going to be perfect. But go after them. And that mindset, as you said, is so much different than don't make a mistake.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Martinez here. Rough starts for those young men back-to-back here in Atlanta. Hopefully they can rebound against the Phillies, who are in town Thursday night after a day game here tomorrow. The pitch is low. Full count.
But at times you go through this. It's part of the game. You have to be able to deal with failure, adversity. You have to get out of the rough stretches. As Snit said, and this is a direct quote, this game will drive you crazy, and we are all comfortably miserable playing it.
Right. That's a great line. And it's just like we were talking about last night, Paul, with all the questions he gets peppered with. The other one is the home field disadvantage right now for the Braves, and he has no explanation for that.
Right.
Nor does anyone else.
Runner goes. That ball is lasered toward left over Acuna's head and off the wall. Well played by Ronald. Runners will be at second and third with 1 out. Martinez just missed a 2-run homer. No chance for Ronald to catch it. All he could do was hope it hit hard off the wall. It did. And St. Louis is in business with 1 out. So Johnny Venters could not retire a batter. He issues a walk and a hit. And Dan Winkler is going to come on to face Paul DeYoung. Braves need an Adam ball or a strikeout desperately here, down a run in the top of the 8th inning.
Go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
St. Louis 2, Atlanta 1, but the Cardinals have a big threat here, second and third, with only 1 man out. As you look in at SunTrust Park on a beautiful night, live on our Xfinity cam. Dan Winkler is going to come on for the Braves with Carpenter at third, Martinez at second.
This would be a good time for Dan to kind of get some things turned around. He was in a real good stretch over 18 games. And then suddenly some bad luck hit, and he's allowed 6 runs over his last 2 2/3 innings. That dates back to a game against Boston back on the 5th of September.
The Cardinals bring on Tyler O'Neill to pinch run for Martinez at second base, and DeYoung will be the hitter. Two-run homer, the deciding blow in the game. That came in the 4th. Infield in for Atlanta. And that one missed badly. Set up outside, it drifted over the inside corner. Ball 1. Line drive into center field, a base hit. Carpenter scores. O'Neill around third is going to be stopped. So DeYoung has a 3 RBI night. And another walk is cashed in by a Braves opponent. This run charged to Johnny Venters. And St. Louis extends their lead.
Like a cutter that he was trying to throw, but it didn't do anything.
Cut fastball, not a horrible pitch, just up a little bit.
So here's Ozuna. Winkler could use a double play ball. First and third, 1 in, 1 out. And foul to the screen, strike 1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Ozuna's got 6 homers, 14 RBIs this month, and is the Cardinals' RBI leader. He's looking for a fly ball at least here. And that one wasted outside. 1-2.
Ozuna's a big dude too, 6'1", 225. Just 27 years old still. And what a turnaround he's made in his hitting style. That was an out pitch to him his first couple of years in the big leagues.
Oh, he'd flail away at that slider.
Yeah.
But not anymore. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch missed inside, and DeYoung takes second base on ball 4, and they're loaded. Another walk. Venters walks the first man he faced. Winkler walks the second.
4 straight have reached.
So Matt Adams will come on and pinch hit for Jordan Hicks. And Brian Snitker has to go to his bullpen again here in the 8th inning. Brock, Venters, Winkler, and now Sam Freeman, the former Cardinal, to face Matt Adams.
Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
Never a good thing in a close ball game when you have to use 4 pitchers to get 3 outs. So far, the Braves have used 3 pitchers and have gotten 1 out. Sam Freeman is the 4th hurler of the inning. And it won't be Matt Adams, but it will be Patrick Wisdom for St. Louis, trying to break this game open. They lead it 3-1. 4 straight have reached against the Atlanta pen here. And Wisdom knows a thing or two about a grand slam. He hit his first on Saturday off Rich Hill in St. Louis. Again, a double play gets you out of this giant mess. Ball 1.
Nice stop by Kirk. Might have taken a bite out of him.
This is huge right here, especially with the Braves offense, which has a history of coming back and hitting the ball very well after the 7th inning. Gotta hold them. This is crucial.
I like the fact that Hicks is out of the game. As hard as he throws, won't have to worry about him over the final 2 innings, but you got to get Wisdom here. And there's a good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wisdom's from Marietta, California, that is. 1 ball, 1 strike. Popped up right side. Freddie gives chase. He won't have a play. I think they have the big taco out there as opposed to the big chicken, which is right up the street here in Marietta, Georgia.
It's a big one, too.
Yeah. Wisdom, supplemental 1st round pick in 2012. Did not ever hit for a high average in the minor leagues, but a lot of power, including 31 homers at AAA last year. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Huge out for Freeman. He got the first man assigned.
Nice pitch sequence right there. The previous pitch, fastball 95 up and in. That's a changeup down and away. Great late action. You see the split grip on it, and it goes straight down at the end.
Great job. Big out. 1 more. Careful on the first pitch.
Yeah, this guy's got to scare you to death. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Yadier Molina. 0 for 3. Took a little off. And an awkward swing for Molina, who ended up spinning on that sore left leg. That couldn't have been comfortable.
He probably thought he had Sam Freeman figured out. Remember, Freeman used to be a Cardinal. They may have been looking first pitch fastball. Certainly didn't get it.
No balls and a strike. Threw it again.
Doubled up on him.
Sam Freeman looks cool as can be. Way ahead of Molina. No balls, 2 strikes. And that's sprayed foul.
Went to the well again.
But all 3 well located.
There's always that question. You can't go to the well too many times, but when a hitter is taking really bad swings, it's hard to throw something else.
Another 0-2 pitch.
You can tell with Sam Freeman's glove, it's hard to relay from second base at the last minute, but you can see the split grip. You can see the fastball from the center field angle.
Let's do it again with the bases loaded. Another good stop. 1-2.
How about the camera work right there with our Fox Sports team getting in the glove. You cannot, if you expose it to a runner on second base, you can't go to that grip too early.
DeYoung a huge lead at second. Ozuna at first. O'Neill at third. The pitch. Lined out of play. Big league at bat by Molina. Down 2 strikes. Making Freeman work overtime here with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
This is a good matchup right here. Molina staring him down. Was frustrated, now fouling a few balls off. Heater.
And almost to the screen.
I hated facing my former catchers. I always felt like they knew something about me. Freeman's smiling at him.
I know.
He knows something.
2-2. It's a base hit to left. That's going to score a couple of runs. The ball gets behind Acuna, and now Ozuna's going to be streaking around third base. He's going to score. Molina's at second. The Cardinals clear the bases in the 8th inning. It's a single, 2 RBIs. Molina to second on the air. Ozuna scores from first on the air. And the Braves bullpen has more problems in the 8th.
Covered an outside pitch.
So neither Venters nor Winkler could retire a batter. They both surrendered 2 runs. And now St. Louis has a 6-1 lead in the 8th inning. Big league at bat by Molina, who was down 2 strikes. He saw 8 pitches, took a couple, fouled off a couple, and then guided a single between third and short. A rare error for Acuna allowed the 4th Cardinal run to score in the inning.
That was unusual.
So Joe, you again are Joe Stradamus. You've talked about it all year long. In these playoff packed games, playoff pressure packed games, walks or rallies. Braves issued no walks through 7 innings. 2 walks in the 8th inning. Both of them score. And another one, this time from Freeman. So Venters, Winkler, Freeman have all issued a walk.
Yadier Molina, watching that at bat, and you were right, Paul. He was kind of staring out at Freeman, trying to think along with him, like, what are you going to throw me now? He got him behind in the count on good change-ups, but then it's like willpower took over. There was, you asked about focus with guys on base and how their numbers go up accordingly. It's a veteran hitter who was really thinking through that, knowing this was a key at bat where he could really give his team the cushion they need to kind of coast home if they need to, and he was not going to be denied. This was a decent pitch, another changeup, and he covered it. That was just a tremendous at bat and tremendously focused. Those kind of players are the ones that almost single-handedly will you into the postseason by their own actions.
And if he does it, he's doing it on one leg. I mean, that's one leg, and he's behind the plate every day for the Cardinals.
There are players who demand your best as a teammate. They expect you to do the same thing. But a lot of that can sometimes just be false hustle if you're not doing the same thing, if you're not playing the game the same way.
This is a hard game to play. It's not easy. Talking to Ricky Horton, former Cardinals pitcher, he said he's got the gene. I said, what is that? And he said the mental and physical endurance. that not many players have. This is a grueling game. It wears you out. The catching position, in my opinion, is the toughest. It demands the most of you physically and mentally. You don't have to just know about one guy. You got to know all your pitchers. You got to know all the other team's pitchers. You got to be ready to block, throw guys out. You're involved in every play.
Harrison Bader pops one foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes. With that in mind, speaking of leading by example, willing your team, being an Iron Man, being in the lineup in the most difficult position, it would not shock me tomorrow if Yadier Molina is in the lineup again with a 12-10 start.
Nor I. I would be surprised if he isn't.
And a swing and a miss mercifully ends the St. Louis 8th. The Cardinals score 4 runs. 4 pitchers work to get 3 outs, and it's 6-1 St. Louis. Tomorrow, postseason single game tickets go on sale. To get the best seats for the biggest moments this October, head to Braves.com/postseason and to get your seats today. Big 8th inning for St. Louis. They bat around against 4 Atlanta relievers, and they score 4 times. Tyler O'Neill reigns in the game. He'll be in right field, and Dominic Leone is on for his 26th appearance.
Leone a little higher ERA than he would like, but 2-seam, 4-seam fastball curve and a very good slider. We'll see if we can't capitalize, get something going here in the 8th.
Cardinals have retired the last 7 Braves hitters in order. Leone, the 3rd reliever after Austin Gomber went 5 innings and gave up a run. That run in Acuna homer. Johan Camargo takes a strike. It's 1-1 to him. He's reached twice, once on an error. He's walked and flied out. He's had a handful of chances through 5 innings. They've left 9 men on base. That's shaved off an inside corner. Camargo tried to jackknife out of the way.
Dominic was activated from the 60-day DL last month on the 26th with upper arm nerve irritation. He's been in 10 of 21 games since.
They have another guy that's still on the 60-day DL. When you talk about Harrison Bader and the job he's doing in center field for them. Dexter Fowler is not going to play. They don't expect him to play the rest of the year with a broken foot.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Product of Milton High School here in the metro area.
They used to say Florida, Texas, California. Talking to scouts over the last 10 to 15 years, they say you have to put Georgia in the mix now too.
Wicked slider retires Camargo. There's the first out of the Atlanta 8th. 8 straight sent down by St. Louis. The last man to reach was Kurt Suzuki, who singled back in the 5th.
There's that good slider that goes straight down. He throws that 42% of the time with 2 strikes.
Kurt drives one down the line, out of play. Steve, rank 1. Reds are trying to play the role of the spoiler tonight. They're beating Milwaukee. That's 3-1. Bottom of the 9th inning at Miller Park. Day after all the excitement of Christian Yelich hitting for the cycle for the 2nd time this year, both times against the Reds. What are the odds of that?
You know what I liked in particular about his last hit, which was the triple, was knowing he needed a triple for the cycle. He still, as he was rounding first and headed to second, he was looking at his third base coach, Ed Cedar, to see if he wanted him to come on. He was doing the right thing fundamentally, and of course got waved on around.
Bouncing ball hit to the left side. DeYoung makes the play, high throw, and that's in time for the 2nd out. Speaking of Christian Yelich, he's our T-Mobile built for baseball. I think it's safe to say, guys, that Christian Yelich has vaulted himself into the MVP conversation in the National League.
No question. Singled in the double off the glove of Votto. Homer right down the line. And then the triple in the right center field gap. Watch him as he's, well, he might not be able to pick it up right here. No. Right there before he got to second. He wasn't just going to go on to third to try to get the cycle. He was doing the right thing by checking his coach.
You think of the number of men who have swung a bat in a major league game and have gotten 4 at bats. Christian Yelich is only 8th player all time to have 2 cycles in the same season. He's the 3rd player to do it in the modern era. And he's the first and only player to hit for 2 cycles against the same team in the same season. Talk about astronomical odds.
Yeah.
More history.
And he has killed the Reds this year. 7 homers and 17 RBIs against Cincinnati. One of the best pickups of the offseason. The Brewers scooped up Christian Yelich from the Marlins. So here's Ender. He's 0 for 3. He's hit the ball hard twice. And he's way ahead in the count, 3-0. And throw a strike, and he did. Washington won tonight 4-2 in Miami. Steven Strasburg was the scheduled starter for the Nationals. And that's outside, a 2-out walk with a 5-run lead. Braves will take all the help they can get. Now Charlie's the hitter. He's walked, singled, and struck out. The big game in the playoff race getting started out west. Rockies and Dodgers. Good matchup tonight. Kyle Freeland is the man on the mound for the Rockies. 15-7. Clayton Kershaw 7-1 since coming off the disabled list.
What a matchup that is.
Dodgers by 1/2 game over Colorado. In the West, the Rockies have never won the National League Western title. 1 ball, no strikes. That is bounced foul at third. And we'll do it again. 1-1.
Arizona's already down 5-0 early to the Cubs. Their schedule just caught up to them.
Yeah. 17 straight games against division leaders.
Yeah. And some of it on the road.
One ball, one strike. Talked a lot about that tough schedule for Chicago. 30 games, 30 days. Tonight's the 29th game of that stretch. They're 17-11. And they've won their last 5 games using 5 different closers.
Wow, that's impressive.
With Stropert and with Brandon Morrow just back from injury. Pitch is out of play. Culberson still alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The game in Philadelphia, by the way, has gone final. Jorge Alfaro, the big hitting star, a 3-run homer. And the Phillies came back from a 2-0 deficit to win 5-2 tonight. So the Braves at the moment 6 games ahead in the East. Barring a comeback, it'll be a 5.5 game lead with 1 more to play against St. Louis. And then Philadelphia for 4 gigantic games beginning Thursday night. The 1-2 pitch is cut on and missed. And Leon strikes out a pair in his 8th inning of work. It's 6-1 Cardinals. We go to the 9th. One in game 2 of the series. Let's take a peek at the National League playoff picture up to the moment. The Cardinals could pick up some ground on the Brewers. St. Louis has a shot at taking over the top wild card spot, which means home field advantage for that 1-game playoff, and the right perhaps to play the Cubs in a potential first-round matchup. Right now the potential opponent for the Braves would be the Western winner, which at the moment is the Dodgers by a half game over the Rockies. Bryce Wilson's going to come on and pitch. And he throws a strike right on by Yairo Munoz, who's in the game to play third base.
Third appearance for him. One was a start, an outstanding start in Pittsburgh. He also had a relief appearance against Boston back on the 3rd of September. Gave up 3 runs in his 1 inning of work. So it's been a couple of weeks since he's been out there. Liked him a lot.
Well, my favorite part about him is he's 20 years old. 2 years ago, he was throwing in high school.
Yeah, and playing linebacker.
And getting a 4.7 GPA.
No balls, 2 strikes. And lined out of play, foul.
I told you I struggle with math. There's another area I struggle. How do you get a 4.7?
Well, it's easy if you were like me, you just get it over a 2-year period.
You add them together?
Well, that's what they call a cumulative grade point.
That's right. You add it all together, you get a 4.7 over 2 years. That's perfect.
That I can add up. That makes sense to me.
There you go. Yeah, 2 years of 2.35. You're in business, man. Straight C average. Atta baby. And showed you that playoff race. LA's got a 1-0 lead in the 2nd inning out west at Dodger Stadium. And a liner past second. A base hit for Munoz on an 0-2 pitch. Well, look, there's no sugarcoating it at the moment. This was a game started by Anibal Sanchez. He pitched great. He pitched a fantastic game. 9 strikeouts, 2 pitches in a row had him trailing in the game 2-1. Cardinals pitching has really handcuffed the Braves. A lot of runners left on base. Atlanta has struck out 10 times in the first 8 innings tonight. But any hope of staging a late inning rally was erased in the 8th inning when, again, Atlanta had to use 4 pitchers to get 3 outs. 2 more walks. 2 consecutive first batters faced reached, once on a walk by Johnny Venters, the other on a hit allowed by Dan Winkler. And then Molina with the bases loaded and 2 outs, down 0-2 in the count, battled back to 2-2, single to left for 2 runs, an error brought home the 3rd, and that was all she wrote.
I don't want to sugarcoat this or be too much of an optimist. The Braves have bullpen problems and they need to figure it out. They know that. They need to walk less people. They know that. But in my experience, what gives me hope, you just got to get to the playoffs and you got to get hot at the right team at the right time. I'm thinking of 05 when I played for the Angels and we came in with 3 weeks left to go and we played the White Sox and we destroyed them, and all of their guys were terrible. Burley and others could not get anybody out. We could not wait to play them in the playoffs with the Angels. We beat the Yankees. We were hot. The White Sox lost 1 game that offseason. That's it. They caught fire at the right time. Those same guys like Burley and others that we destroyed all through complete games.
1 ball, 2 strikes. As this one's lined to second, throw back to first, short hop throw, not handled by Freeman. Ball gets away for a moment, but not far enough for Munoz to advance. And Carpenter's retired. There's out number 1.
That was against Houston in the World Series, right?
Yes.
That's a great story and a good point.
So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's baseball. It could happen. The Braves relievers have to figure out what they are doing wrong. Maybe it's get a little rest. Maybe it's attack the zone better, meaning mindset.
Well, another side of it too, Paul, not just the pitching. Last night the Braves scored 6 runs on 10 hits. 4 of those runs came from the 6th inning on. So my opinion is, if the Braves can break out a little bit early offensively and give the pitchers a little room for a mistake or 2, a walk or 2, it'll make a huge difference.
Well, and your point, you said one of the keys for Gomber was taking advantage of his leadoff hitters that he allowed. Braves had the leadoff man on in the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th innings. Got 1 run out of it. And again, we keep harping on playoff-like atmosphere, playoff-like situational hitting, playoff situational pitching. Getting that leadoff guy on is hugely important. Braves couldn't get a bunt down, for example, in one of those sequences. That was a very big play in this game.
Right.
I'm not saying that the Cardinals wouldn't have scored 6 runs tonight, but you may see a different game up 2-1 as opposed to down 2-1 in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings.
Everything is magnified in the playoffs, and even games like right now.
That's right, Paul.
You notice every little thing, and the game usually comes down to the little things, that little play. That call on the corner that could have gone your way like 2 nights ago where we're questioning it.
So Tyler O'Neill, the batter, gets his first plate appearance, and he rifles a shot in the left field. That's going to bounce by Acuna off his glove and up against the wall. Here comes Munoz around third. Relay throw won't be made, and St. Louis adds a run. It's 7-1.
Mistake on the inner half. Big strong right-handed hitter turned on it and just off of Ronald's glove.
So 7 runs on 10 hits for St. Louis, a run on 6 hits for the Braves. Paul DeJong has been destructive tonight. A single and a homer, 2 runs, 3 RBIs. He's already knocked in 5 runs in this series. He's looking for a 6th right here with 1 out. And that short hops. Ball 1. Yankees stave off elimination in the AL East race. They beat the Red Sox 3-2. Yankees are trying to hold off Oakland for home field advantage in the wild card. Wouldn't that be something? And there are a lot of the experts on MLB Network Radio that are talking about who has the advantage in that matchup depending on where the game's played. A lot of them say, well, if it's a Yankee Stadium, Yankees have a really good shot. However, if it's in Oakland, the A's will give the Yankees all they can handle. And so if you're Boston, you're sitting there with a gigantic lead over New York. Who do you want to play? The Yankees in a first-round matchup for the division series? Or do you want Oakland but have to deal with a 6-hour cross-country flight potentially twice?
Oakland's got 90 wins now. And they're only 4 games back of Houston, believe it or not. And they are 17 games over 500 at home.
Fly ball well hit by Ozuna. Markakis will turn and watch that one hit off the bricks. Here comes the throw towards second. A run is in. It's O'Neill scoring. And Ozuna has his first hit of the night. And Mr. Flaherty is saying to his teammates, save me a few for tomorrow, as the Cardinals keep pouring it on. It's 8-1 now. And this will be Adolis Garcia, the brother of former Brave Adonis Garcia.
This is good experience for Wilson, as that ball was straight middle of the plate. We have seen him be brilliant up here, as we talked about with Pittsburgh, but this is the right situation for him. He is learning. He's got a great future, and what he's learning is the mistake hitters up here are the best in the world.
And it's been a long time since he's pitched, so he gets a bit of a pass as Acuna handles in left, and the Cardinals settle for 2 more in the top of the 9th inning.
news for you. You have to wait a little over 12 hours, and Braves baseball will be back. We have the series finale between the Braves and the Cardinals coming your way. Our coverage is going to start at 11:30 Eastern tomorrow morning on Fox Sports Southeast, and it'll be Touki Toussaint on the mound making his 4th big league start, and he will take on Jack Flaherty, who's been really good all season, a 2.86 ERA in 25 games. But guys, excited to get Touki back out on the mound and see what he can do with another start.
Yeah, it'd be great. Jack Flaherty will be the man on the mound for St. Louis in that one. 12-10 start. So sleep fast and get back to SunTrust Park for the Braves and Cardinals in Game 3. Francisco Pena will be the battery mate of Mike Mayers. He's appeared in 3 games in the last 6 days. He's off the disabled list with right shoulder inflammation. Also made an injury rehab at AAA Memphis. He'll face Lucas Duda, who will pinch hit in the Atlanta 9th.
See Mayers, 26 years old. He's 15th among National League rookie pitchers with 45 appearances.
No balls and 2 strikes for Lucas Duda. And a swing and a miss. Both the Cardinals have some slider throwing fools, don't they? That was nasty. 1 out. There's Dexter Fowler. He and the Cardinals riding high, trying to win their 8th consecutive game against the Braves in Atlanta. They're trying to pick up a game on the Brewers, who have lost to Cincinnati 3-1. Cardinals are now 2.5 behind the Brewers for the top wild card. As the first pitch to Acuna is fouled away. Acuna homered in the 3rd inning. He has since struck out twice. Made an error in left. And has also grounded out. Game number 100 for Acuna, and he hit a home run in it. Amazing.
I'd say Mayers has come off the disabled list feeling pretty good.
Yeah, nice and easy 97 on the outside corner and good slider.
And strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts.
Fastball gets on you. You don't see that often where Acuna is fooled with fastballs and does not offer.
So Ozzie and Acuna, batting 2nd and 1st respectively, have struck out 6 times tonight. Collectively, 3 for Acuna, 3 for Ozzie. All 3 of Ozzie's were swinging. Braves down to their last out in an 8-1 Cardinal game. The pitch. Gomber and Sanchez will be the pitchers of record tonight. There's the 1-0 count. And out of play. Two balls, 1 strike, and bang foul. And now Atlanta down to its last strike. umpires ready, and the pitch. Moved his feet. It's 3-2.
Got to regroup, come back tomorrow, and get what will be a much-needed win. Braves have lost 4 in a row at the conclusion of this game. They've had help holding off the Phillies, but can't count on that help anymore. Got to take care of business yourself.
Yeah, and especially at home. Got to win, start winning games at home. They're down to a precious few, just 5 left. Braves are about to be 4-14 here at SunTrust Park since mid-August. And are in danger of falling back to 500 overall this season here in Atlanta. The pitch is outside, and Albies draws a 2-out walk.
That's a good point, guys. Brian Snitker was asked earlier today, do you ready to get back out on the road again?
Yeah.
And he said no. He said, I want to win at home. And I thought that was well said.
Freddie's got 2 hits, both singles. He's also grounded out to first twice. Albies will be off to second base. Well, thought he was going to go, but he got a little late start, so he'll hold the horses for a moment. 1 ball, no strikes.
Freddie getting hot again.
Fly ball to right. In the corner. That is going to drop in safely. O'Neill couldn't handle it. And Atlanta's got him at second and third. So a 3-hit game for Freddie. He's got a stand-up double. His 37th. And as we've said so often, the Braves are not going to go quietly. They've got a 2-out threat here in the 9th inning.
Little slider, he wanted it down and in, didn't get it there.
So Markakis the batter. Here we are again with Nick. 2 outs in a run scoring situation. Who better to keep the game alive than he? Nick a double back in the 3rd tonight. And a little low. 1 ball, no strikes. What a year for Nick Markakis. Old reliable, I've called him. And he has been exactly that. Rockies have tied the game, by the way, in Los Angeles. 1-1 in the 3rd inning, and they've got a threat against Kershaw.
Lest we forget, Nick Markakis will be a free agent at the end of the year, barring an extension to his contract.
Some in baseball who scoffed at the notion that the Braves signed him to a 4-year deal in the early stages of their rebuild. I would think it's safe to say the Braves have gotten every penny's worth of value from Nick.
Especially this year.
No doubt. Consummate pro. And the 2-0 pitch. And throw a strike. 2-1.
I think part of that, Chip, was due to the neck injury. There was a little bit of a question mark as to whether he would be able to come back. His first year with the Braves, he was unable to lift weights, but worked extremely hard in other areas. And it's a testament to the time that he put in to make a comeback.
Little pop into shallow center. Bader is there and puts the squeeze on that. And the Cardinals have won the series, and they've won the game tonight. 8-1 is your final score. The Braves fall back to 500 at home, and the lead in the East has been trimmed by the Phillies to 5.5 games with a couple of weeks of baseball left. 8-1 is your final. Gomber the winner, Sanchez the loser. The Braves will hope for better luck tomorrow afternoon behind Tukey, Tucson. We'll preview Game 3 and recap Game 2 on Braves Live. That's presented by Xfinity, and that's coming up after this.